My name is Paul Hensley. I'm 64. I've been divorced for 21 years, and I haven't spoken to my children in nearly 14. Not because I disappeared, but because their mother made sure every letter I wrote and every dollar I sent was buried deeper than the truth. If you know what it's like to be erased while doing everything by the book, hit like, subscribe, and drop your name and city in the comments for a shout-out in the next story. Today's goes to Marcus from Cedar Rapids, who said last week's story helped him walk away with his head up. The last time I saw my son, he was 16. My daughter had just turned 13. They stood on the steps of their mother's porch like they'd already been trained not to hug me. I handed them both envelopes, handwritten notes with contact details, small cash gifts, my new address. Neither made it past the mailbox. The court said I owed support. I paid it. Every month. Certified checks. Never missed one. When I sent birthday cards, they came back unopened or not at all. Christmas boxes? Same story. I kept records. Scans. Photos. I never fought back publicly. She had the house, the narrative, the audience. I had silence and paper. I moved 3 states away in 2012. Worked maintenance for a charter school. Kept to myself. I didn't date. Didn't join the local softball league or sit at the bar trying to prove I still had a voice. Then last February, I got a call from an old friend, someone still in town, still looped into the Sunday gossip circuit. His message was short. Paul, I'm sorry to hear. They're having a memorial for you next week. Obituary went out yesterday. He sent me the link. There it was. My name. My face. A grainy photo from 20 years ago. A write-up that made me sound like a long-lost ghost. A strange father left the family when the kids were young. No known contact since the early 2000s. Not a word about the checks. The letters. The custody filings I paid for that were denied without cause. She'd buried me before I was dead, and my children were reading a eulogy that replaced fact with fiction. I printed the obituary, laid it next to the binder I'd kept all these years, and circled the date of the memorial. She wanted a story without me in it. She was about to get an ending she didn't write. The memorial was held in a mid-sized Unitarian chapel 2 towns over. Wednesday afternoon, early spring. Quiet, overcast. Appropriate. I arrived 20 minutes early. Wore a dark gray suit I hadn't put on since the custody hearing in '09. It still fit. That seemed fitting too. No one recognized me on sight. Time had done its job. The beard was new. The weight I'd lost gave me a sharper edge. I signed the guest book as Paul H. The room filled slowly. Old neighbors, former coworkers of hers. Maybe a few people who remembered me as something different. Something less than the man sitting 2 rows from the front with a black binder tucked under one arm. My son, now grown, stood at the lectern. He wore the same nervous stiffness I carried at his age. The resemblance was sharp, uncomfortable. He cleared his throat. My father wasn't perfect. He wasn't present, and we never got to say goodbye. But today we do. Applause. Not loud, just enough to make the lies sound warm. He spoke about absence like it was a wound he'd carried for years. About birthdays missed, cards never sent, silence that echoed through high school milestones and graduations. My daughter wiped a tear. I watched her from behind. She had her mother's posture. When they opened the floor, I stood up. Some turned, confused. I walked slowly, binder in hand, to the front of the chapel. A few people moved as if to intercept. My ex, now seated with her arms folded tight, went pale. She didn't stand. I'm Paul Hensley, I said. The man you're memorializing. Silence. Deep. Hollow. I was never missing. I paid every dollar the court ordered. And then some. I wrote letters every year. Birthdays. Christmas. Milestones. They were sent. Delivered. Logged. I opened the binder. Certified mail receipts. Copies of letters. Scans of return packages. Bank statements. Everything. I didn't look at her. I was erased, I said. By choice, not death. I closed the binder and set it on the lectern. Whatever story you were told, that's between you and the person who told it. I just came to say, I was here. Always was. And then I walked out. No shouting. No scene. Just the sound of her narrative collapsing under the weight of paper. I didn't stay to see how they handled it. That wasn't the point. I walked out of the chapel without looking back, stepped into the parking lot, and sat in the car. Not to cry, not to breathe, just to let the stillness catch up. I waited 30 minutes. No one followed. Later that evening, I checked my email. One unread message. Subject: what the hell was that? It was from her. 5 words. No apology. No explanation. Just indignation. The same tone she used in court, in the mediation room, in every voicemail that blamed me for things she wouldn't let me prove. I didn't reply. Instead, I took photos of every page in that binder, uploaded the files to a private drive, attached view-only links to 2 new emails, one to my son, one to my daughter. No vaguing, no dramatic message, just a subject line, in case you want the whole story. I didn't expect anything. A week passed, then 2. On the 3rd Sunday, a reply came from my daughter. I don't know what to say. I thought you vanished. She showed us return letters, told us you stopped trying. I believed her. I'm not sure what to believe now, but I saw the dates, the checks, the handwriting. I recognize it. You were there. I didn't know. That was all. It wasn't forgiveness. It wasn't even an invitation, but it was something honest. The first honest sentence from either of them in over a decade. My son didn't respond. Not yet, but I know he opened the file. The view log showed his IP address. Twice. She, of course, sent another email. You humiliated the children. You ambushed us. Whatever story you're telling, you've already done the damage. Just leave it now. Let it go. I read it once, then archived it. I let go a long time ago. What she couldn't stand was that I didn't stay dead. That the version of me she built had to face the weight of proof. Not rage. Not violence. Just cold, quiet fact. And facts, when placed plainly, don't need forgiveness. They just sit there, unmovable. It was almost 2 months before I heard from him. I was at the laundromat, folding shirts, when his name lit up on the screen. Ethan Hensley. My son. A name I'd only seen in court papers and newspaper clippings for the last 10 years. The message was short. You should have tried harder. But I saw the documents. I don't know what to do with them. Mom isn't talking about it anymore. She acts like nothing happened. I need time. That's all I've got. I stared at the words longer than I should have. Not because they hurt, but because they didn't surprise me. That's what happens when the truth comes too late. People don't rush toward it. They circle it, study it, look for cracks. When they don't find any, they pull back and ask why it hurts to hold. I replied once. Take all the time you need. I'm still here. Then I put the phone down and didn't wait for more. That was the part she never understood. I wasn't trying to take anything from anyone. I just wanted the lie to end. I wanted my name back, even if it came alone. A week later, a small envelope arrived at my P.O. box. No return address. Inside, a single photo. Faded. Tore at one corner. It was the 3 of us, me, Ethan, and Lena. Easter 2004. I was holding her hand. Ethan had his arm on my shoulder. No note. Just that photo. I took it home, placed it in a frame I found at a thrift store, and set it on my bookshelf. It didn't fix anything, but it reminded me that the past existed, even if someone else tried to erase it. Sometimes, presence is louder than confrontation. My children don't call. They don't write. But they know now. That's enough. As for her, I've heard nothing else. No lawyers. No threats. Just quiet. The kind that settles after a house fire when everything left standing is real. I didn't burn her story down. I just opened the windows and let the smoke clear. I've moved twice since the memorial. Not to hide, just to make space. The new place is modest, single floor, wood floors, quiet neighborhood. I don't know the neighbors by name, and that suits me. I walk most mornings, drink my coffee in the same chair every afternoon, and haven't checked the view logs on the binder files in months. I know they've seen them. That's enough. There was a time I imagined a reunion. Some dramatic moment where they'd call, apologize, cry, and make space for me again. But I let that fantasy go somewhere in the 3rd year of silence. I'm not interested in being rescued from solitude. I'm interested in keeping peace. I updated my will last week. No money goes to their mother. Not a cent. The trust is split between Ethan and Lena. The instructions are clear. They can claim it when, if, they choose to reach out. No lawyers. No me lemon. Just a simple letter with their signature and a request to talk. Not to be forgiven. just to be acknowledged. I left them a second binder, a duplicate of everything from the original: checks, letters, postmarked envelopes, court documents. It's stored with the will. Let the truth outlive me, if nothing else. Some people spend their lives trying to be heard. I spent mine trying not to disappear. There's a difference. I didn't come back for vengeance. I came back for evidence. Now I don't need to prove anything to anyone. They can believe what they want. Love her if they choose. Hate me if it's easier. But they don't get to say I vanished anymore. That story's over. What remains is paper, and time, and a man who, even after being written out, refused to play dead. If this story spoke to something deep in you, something quiet, something cold, hit like, comment your name and city, and subscribe for the next one. We don't always get justice with a bang. Sometimes it's just a binder left behind.